Welcome to the TExES 391 Core Subjects EC6 online test prep course covering subject exam number 1, English Language Arts and Reading, test number 901. The course is presented by Teacher Preps, your trusted source to help you pass your teacher certification exam. Thanks so much for being here. Let's get started. As you can recall from the NES and Texas Education Agency Administration website, the Texas Core Subjects 391 ELAR reading exam has a total of 10 competencies. In this lesson, we'll cover competency number 7, which reads, "The teacher understands the conventions of writing in English and provides instruction that helps students develop proficiency in applying writing conventions." The key word that the whole competency is about is writing conventions, which are the rules and guidelines that we adhere to when writing in English, such as spelling, grammar, pronunciation, and more. Okay, great. I think we've got a good start. Let's jump into the learnings by reading statement number 1. And this reads, "The beginning teacher understands that many students go through predictable stages in acquiring writing conventions, for example, physical and cognitive processes involved in word, writing, sentence construction, spelling, pronunciation, grammatical expression, and that individual students vary in their rates of development of those conventions." After reading this, I see that the key point here is understanding the stages in acquiring writing conventions. If you're ready, let's jump straight into the learnings of this lesson. Our first objective here is to better understand the predictable stages students undergo in acquiring writing conventions with an emphasis on physical developments influencing this process. Introduction to writing conventions. Remember, let's start with the definition. Writing conventions refers to the standardized rules and guidelines in writing that ensure clarity, coherence, and communication effectiveness, such as spelling, pronunciation, grammar, capitalization, sentence structure, paragraphing, and word usage. Predictable stages in writing conventions. Acquisition. The first stage here is called emergent writing stage, and this is when students begin to understand that writing is a form of communication. Scribbling may evolve into more recognizable letters and eventually into words. Some grasp the basic pronunciations and capitalizations, although it's inconsistent. Our next stage in writing is the acquisition of transitional writing. This stage is demonstrated when there is increasing awareness of spelling patterns and phonetic rules. The sentence structures become more varied here, and the student attempts to use different types of pronunciation, though not always accurately. And here, the student begins paragraphing, often by topic or idea. The next writing stage is called the fluent writing stage, where we can see that students have reached this stage by the following indicators. The student demonstrates a more consistent grasp of grammar rules and sentence structure, uses varied vocabulary and more complex sentence structures, understands the nuances of pronunciation and its impact on meaning. Capitalization rules are mostly mastered. Now that we've had a good refresher of the predictable stages in writing conventions and acquisition, let's move to our next topic in this standard, which is understanding the physical developments and their impacts on writing convention acquisition. There are 3 main branches in this area that you'll want to be on the lookout for your exam, and these include fine motor skills development, which we see as the ability to grasp a pencil and manipulate it. Brain development, as the brain matures, so does its ability to process complex tasks like sentence construction, pronunciation usage, and paragraph organization. And then visual processing, which is the improved ability to distinguish between letters, words, and pronunciation. This helps in the recognition of spelling patterns and pronunciation norms. Let us not forget that in our exam, the standard has also asked us to understand cognitive development on writing convention acquisition. Starting at the beginning, recall that cognitive development refers to the brain's growth and the evolution of thinking skills over time. This development influences a student's ability to understand and apply writing conventions. For your exam, you'll want to remember these 4 processes. First, cognitive process that impacts writing convention acquisition is memory. As short-term and long-term memory improves, students can remember and apply writing rules more effectively. Second is attention span. Longer attention spans allow for extended periods of writing, facilitating practice and refinement of writing conventions. Next, we have logical reasoning. As logical reasoning skills develop, students better understand the structure of sentences and paragraphs. And lastly, there is metacognition. This is recognizing one's own thinking process, and this can help the students self-correct and refine their writing over time. Now that we have a firm background knowledge about the stages and processes that students go through to learning writing, let's move to the heart of this lesson, which is writing conventions. Writing conventions serve as the guidelines that make writing standardized and comprehensible for everyone. Key aspects that you'll want to know include word writing, sentence construction, spelling, pronunciation, grammatical expression. Furthermore, note that our exam standard states that we must have an understanding about individual students and how their rates will vary in the development of these conventions. So let's cover that now. Individual variation in development. Remember these aspects for your exam. Varied paces. While many students follow the stages, the time spent in each stage varies. Some may grasp certain conventions faster than others. Now, a student might excel in sentence construction, but may struggle with spelling or vice versa, and this could be the different strengths between students. Socioeconomic background, exposure to literature, parental involvement, and more can influence rates of development. These are our external influences. Now, building off of this knowledge, we'll next cover supporting diverse learners. Starting with differentiated instruction. Remember, this is tailoring teaching strategies to meet the individual needs, ensuring that all students in the classroom grasp the conventions despite their varied paces. Now we have regular assessments. To track progress and to identify areas of struggle, we regularly assess our students to check how they're doing. Engaging in peer review. This allows students to learn from each other and notice different strengths and weaknesses between peers. Now we have utilizing technology, and this is when we use tools like grammar checkers that can aid in understanding and help our students master the conventions. Need to take the TExES core subjects test soon? Click the link in the description below to get prepared faster, smarter, better, with everything you need to pass all in one place. So your test results make you feel like this. And you become a certified teacher with a little help from teacherpreps.com.